Hello students and hello everyone. I am Ashish Chore, assistant professor in Computer Science and Engineering Department, Sagar Institute of Research and Technology, Bhopal. And our today's topic is direct memory access, that we say DMA controller. Okay. In today's topic, we cover introduction of direct memory access and how direct memory access works. Accessing memory directly sounds appealing. Let's try to understand the concept. We know there is a latency or delay in the speed which CPU execute the instruction and the speed with which the memory device serves CPU. This gap in the speed to wastage a CPU time or cycles while interacting memory device like hard disk, especially for data transfer. Can we have same strategy to overcome this problem? Certainly, yes. One of the most basic technique is to let CPU to offload intensive memory access task to another components called DMA controller. This approach then frees the CPU from memory bound task and provide more cycle to CPU bound task for which where it is better suited. But what is DMA controller? Simply speaking, DMA controller is a special purpose processor which is used to ensure the completion of the input output request with least intervention of CPU. But how this coordination between with CPU and DMA controller happen? Good point to explore. Now let's consider the scenario. Say we want to input large amount of data from the device, say a DVD reader. Okay, to execute this memory access by DMA mechanism, the operating system configure which DMA controller with the address of the source, that is the DVD reader, the initial memory address from where input has to be taken and total number of byte to be input once configuration required. The DMA controller to notify to CPU to release its control over the data bus to access the DVD reader directly for read purpose. Okay, this mechanism of stealing the data bus from the CPU and using the data bus for the data transfer between the memory and input output devices is called a cycle stealing. Once a DMA controller gets control over the data bus, it reads the device, that is the DVD reader, for the total number of bytes to input. So what happens once the data transfer operation completes using the DMA at the end? Now, of- at the end, of the data transfer, DMA controller generate a interrupt request. What? Interrupt request. Okay, to initiate the CPU about completion of the data transfer. Such interrupts indicate completion of data transfer, and hence the CPU will take back the control of data bus, which completes the direct memory access. Let's summarize the step. Initially, the DMA controller requests data bus control from CPU, identifying the memory and read request. CPU grant the data bus control to the DMA controller and resumes to some other critical task. To this, the DMA controller acknowledge data bus grant to CPU. Finally, DMA controller read devices and write to memory, and at the end DMA controller generate an interrupt request to tell the CPU. Okay, this is the whole process, how DMA controller works and what is the concept of DMA controller. I think everyone should be understand, and the video is very useful for you guys. So thank you everyone.